out, and it was a beautiful masterpiece of 6 episodes, I think.
Great.
In my opinion. Some of the best TV making of the was. So what happened was AMC had decided to extremely cut their budget in half and order double episodes. And I think what happened was Frank Darabont's like, on my dead body. I'm like, okay, bye. And so they cut Frank Darabont and they replaced him with a woman who lasted.
It was a man.
I thought it was a woman.
No, she's the Terminator 2. She's a Terminator woman. She's been there the whole time. She used to be married to James Cameron.
Hi.
Hey, welcome back.
Well,
Yay!
Whoever it was.
Gail Ann Hurd has been there from the beginning.
Okay, so
she's like a.
They brought somebody else on who only
was a
lasted
dude.
6 episodes.
Well, because he was there a whole season.
Oh, really?
For season 2, you mean?
God.
One of the weakest seasons
Season 3.
we have.
Season 2 was.
Charlie Adnard. His name is there, but he's not.
He does the artwork for the comic book.
Darabont left after season 2.
Yes.
Okay.
So season 2 was the budget cuts where they got to just sit in the farm and talk all the time.
Basically.
And then
where's Sophie? Where's Sophia?
Yeah, that's what
I can't find her. Let's go look in these woods that are free.
Season 3, they got rid of Frank Darabont and they got the second guy, which I can't remember his name. Oh, it's terrible. But he was fast and loose. He was like, "Great, I'm so glad, Robert Kirkman, you wrote the comic book, but now I'm gonna do my own thing." And he really started. That was when the story really started to deviate.
Okay.
Yes, we killed off Andrea.
Spoiler alert.
We
Spoiler alert.
yeah. So
Originally, Andrea was supposed to make it all the way to Alexandria.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, when she was originally contracted, the actress. So a lot of those changes in the way the show is happened in season 3 with that showrunner. And so I feel like the newest guy kind of
Scott Gimple.
kind of rescued the show and started to he started to remix in the comic book stuff. So from a comic book point of view, if you're going to say Robert Kirkman,
we're gonna look,
purist type of thing, he started to remix in a bunch of comic book stuff. And so now iconic comic book moments are just happening on screen because of Scott Gimple. Whereas that second guy,
I will buy that. But
the first guy was more poetic and like we're watching a Western. The second guy was more I want to do whatever I want. And now Scott Gimple's kind of married the comic book with this new remixed.
Do you think he's doing it successfully? Exactly. my point exactly. I mean, I feel like I'm not a showrunner, so I don't actually know what they go through. But I feel like emotionally and spiritually, Scott Gimple is like putting this in some kind of like soap opera toilet and like just. The show season 7 was so different, I think, from any other season. And there was a lack of an arc. There was a lack of real, true character development that we cared about. No one cared about Tara. No one cared about Rosita. No.
I care about both of them.
There's like 2 people.
We found the 2 people that like Tara.
I like
2.
Tara.
But here's
He
the
liked Tara. He's gone. He's out of here. I got him. So, I mean, I feel like I almost feel like, thanks to Scott Gimple, because he's the showrunner, he's the one that is in charge of this whole thing. We're kind of out of, it's stalling. I feel like this season is just stalling for the war that's going to happen in season 8. Well, why do you give us a war now?
I don't know. I think they made some choices.
Yeah, they did.
They're trying to be creative, and I think there are obstacles that we don't know about. So I think he's doing well in the sense that he's bringing in more comic book stuff. But if you don't read the comic books, I don't know if that you would have any context for that. And the cast is bigger. So in terms of budget, and especially the cast has been there since day one, they cost a lot.
Right.
So having these bottle episodes where you have one character and then you don't see him for 2 more episodes, it's probably a way to stretch their budget so that they can then do a lot of the plot that's supposed to happen in the comic book, So I feel like those things are part of why there's these long stretches of dead air where you feel like nothing's happening.
We watched Tara eat cornbread for a whole episode.
But we had.
Why did we
Well, they had to explain new young
That's
hot
fine. If
black
you're gonna-
Jack Bauer. And
No,
why
here's the problem.
left to go to war.
drinking all day, so it's getting a little
No,
out of
I'm
hand.
saying Heath left to go do another show, so they had to say
Here's-
goodbye to him, and that's part of the Terror episode.
Here's the problem, and I think this is an inherent problem with Scott Gimple. Sorry, we're also big Game of Thrones fans. But, for example, in Game of Thrones, when they kill off a particular set of main characters that are driving the story, you have a huge cast of characters you're already invested in.
Correct.
You're already like, yes, I just want to know where these characters are going.
Yes.
Before, sorry, spoilers, Glenn died and Abraham died.
I'm sorry. Oh my God. Wait, let's all hold hands and look at your neighbor. Everything's gonna be okay.
Drink
We're
for
gonna-
Glenn.
We're gonna drink for Glenn. We'll drink for Glenn.
And Abraham.
And Abraham.
Flowers, Glenn.
But even before those two died, you had not developed people like Rosita, people like Tara, people like, all of the other characters.
Develop Rosita.
Right. But
We don't
you
need
hadn't-
to. We're good.
Just develop her right out.
You can't develop her. Her head's going to end up on a spike.
Right. But the problem is you killed off these main characters and you haven't left us with any of the meat. You haven't left us with anybody to hold on to but a whiny Rick. And they are coming back. Now, they are coming back, and I'm hoping for a really strong season next
Well,
season.
there's still Daryl.
Right. He's on Easy Street.
Yeah, no. And I think a lot of fans, they're feeling the repercussion from the fans who, I think Scott Gimple made a mistake with the giant cliffhanger he gave us at the end of season 6. People were not happy with that. And then he paid it out in episode 1 and then paid the price the rest of the season because he gave us a really strong first premiere and the rest of it was just like, it was really floaty. He set himself up for disaster.
Well, I think, that's arguable, and I think when you take a big leap and you make a choice like that, it can go either way. You can have backlash or not, but I think Robert Kirkman is part of a lot of the show decisions as well. So pitting the two against each other is probably not exactly accurate, but yes.
So, and I know this because I watch it with y'all. We thought that this season was kind of weak and a lot of like, oh, they're talking again. So what, the people who thought it was strong, what do you think was strong about it?
Character development.
Brittany.
I like that the world expanded more. We got to see more
We
communities.
talked about this earlier.
Okay. So I like seeing
don't care.
different,
Okay, sorry.
different communities. I guess it's arguable how interesting those different communities were. Yes.
Okay, well,
The kingdom was awesome. We can all agree to that. But then you get, for every kingdom, you get a Jadis.
because like whenever I would ask people like, so what do you like about this show? I mean, because it's a zombie show, or people would say like, oh well, it's all about the characters. It's not about the zombies. It's like, well,
I don't think they have to be mutually exclusive. I think it's about both because similar to the way George R. R. Martin said, well, what happens at the end of The Lord of the Rings? Aragorn, does he know anything about taxes? I mean, yeah, he lived with the elves for a long time. So those were the questions that kind of led him to come up with such a dense political world that's almost comparable to a modern world, or at least our actual history. Similarly, Robert Kirkman said, okay, after the credits roll after a zombie movie, then what? You're living in a wasteland.
Right.
You're scavenging a random grocery store.
Right.
At some point, you get used to zombies. At some point, so I feel like in a long game way, living in a post-apocalyptic wasteland is more boring than living in the Middle Ages during a war. So I just think there would be times where you have long stretches of, wow, we have food now, and you would just be eating. Or I remember in the comic book, there's a long stretch of time where Andrea found a bunch of old clothes that people would wear in prison. So she was just sewing people's shorts and tops, and I could just make all kinds of cool clothes out of this old prison garb. You would just have times like that because you're living in a post-apocalyptic wasteland where a magical time could be finding a big bucket of pudding and eating it. So I think, I
So
don't.
you're saying Scott Gimple is just presenting the boredom that the world is?
I mean,
Because there was times where we're watching this thing, we get one,
I vote that we drink every time Zach says bored.
and the decision to make a lot of the episodes an hour and a half.
Yeah, that was...
Most of those episodes, I'm sorry, and that's all on Scott Gimple. The way he presents the story is not conducive for an audience maybe if you're reading a comic and you're sewing clothes together, that's fine. You understand that. But as an audience member watching the TV show, an hour and a half episode about Morgan finding a stick is not something we want to watch.
That was an awesome episode. Anybody else? No,
Okay,
I'm alone.
sorry, wrong example.
But
Okay.
the problem is we're not in season 2 anymore. We're not finding clothes and we're not, making pudding. We're in season 7. Like, somebody important just died and it took him too long to present the repercussions of that.
And they keep telling you, "Well, just wait for it. It's setting it up. Well, just wait." And it will just,
It just, I guess it just depends on how you watch the show. I watch the show for a lot of the character development and the human stuff, and how do you, Carol's arc that she's been on has been going on since she killed Karen and what's his face? Since she killed the 2 people that were sick. And I'm saying that's a huge character arc. Like, what other show do you watch where you have a 3 or 4 season character arc of someone having a personal crisis?
Carol's a bad example.
I'm just saying, so there's a lot happening when zombies aren't around killing everyone.
Right.
But I don't know. I guess I don't know if we should agree to disagree.
All I'm saying is the way that Scott Gimple had laid out season 7 is problematic.
It could
for
be.
And the
storytelling.
story itself is interesting. We'll get right to you 1 second. The story itself is interesting. Like, I am interested in these characters. I am interested in seeing how they're going to deal with Negan. I am interested in their character development. I just think that there is a smarter way to present those things
And
to us.
I've heard the dialogue this week. I've heard people say that.
Oh, yeah, that's true, too.
So
At
I
least
think
in the
there
last
are,
season
there
it
are
was.
ways to make what the story they're telling more compelling while it's happening.
Yep.
And with the
For sure.
scavengers, the dialogue is getting weaker. So.
Yeah.
Was that dropped on their head or something? 'Cause the way
It's been like 3 years. How did you lose all your prepositions?
But why have prepositions? Why have names? What if they're a community that just said why? Why?
Because
why
you'd
are
have
we-
to teach
why are
yourself
we
to speak
talking
in a
that much?
completely different way for no reason.
What was you had a question or you had a...
Yeah, well, the certain arcs are more believable. Like Morgan going from all life is precious to, hey, occasionally I gotta kill her.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Carol all of a sudden developing a conscience, I didn't buy that. She's so hard and look at the flowers, Carol. She's not like, oh, I feel bad for this guy. No, she's...
Well, she has, I know you're making a face back there, but she has developed into that kind of character. She's developed into a cold-hearted woman.
Well, I don't think she was ever cold-hearted. That's the thing.
Fair enough. I
So
think
I'm
it's
saying,
in there.
I'm saying she's able to just throw down and do what it needs to happen,
Yeah.
and that's why she didn't like. That's why Tyrese irritated her the way he did. That's why Morgan irritated her the way he did, and that's why she didn't like redheaded chick, because it made her have to look at a part of herself that she was compartmentalizing, so she could do the things she did.
Right.
So
when she threw those people in the oven, it's like, okay, that's where I draw the line.
yeah, I think.
Ma'am over there.
We have a woman back here who's amazing.
Yes.
She just said the words, Carol will bake you cookies and kick your ass.
We drink to you.
To Carol. And
We're
yeah.
drinking.
I think Carol's more of a badass than Daryl.
I agree with you. I think Carol is the biggest badass in the entire show.
Like the question you asked on your
differences, which you guys are already doing.
Okay.
blurb about it is who will end up riding Shiva. My vote's for Carol.
Yeah,
Me
that's...
too. I've been waiting to see Carol on a tiger as long as I waited to see Daenerys on a dragon.
There was a point that y'all were talking about how the beginning was like so big that he set himself up for failure. I feel like that ending was season finale was like a good redeeming point of that season because it was so awesome because it had Shiva in it. Because that all of that happened.
But yes, I agree with you. But why not give us that in the middle?
Because they want you to win. Ratings. He wants you to win.
They're not getting ratings. This is the lowest rated season of the whole.
But the season premiere was not.
Right, because everybody was angry. Right, everybody was angry watching like who are they gonna kill? I saw it, and they totally signed off.
We have a question
Yes.
over here.
And they're like, I'm not watching the show anymore. That was too much.
Yes.
Playing
off of that, I heard that AMC was like restricting the violence because the season premiere. It was too much for basic cable, so they're like bringing it back. And
They
we
did.
An episode of Gloria's that first
Yeah,
But they took us to like All My Children. They went
But
all the way back.
They did restrict the violence, and when Rick kills the spiky zombie, they cut it differently. When Daryl kills the savior, he bashes his head, and they were going to show it like a Negan style head bash in. They cut it. So they cut a lot of the violence because of all the looky-loos who came and watched the first episode, not realizing, hey, this is a show that premiered with Rick shooting a little girl in the face, and said, what kind of show is this? This is terrible. And then they cut the violence for all the people.
But you can still cut violence and keep content.
Oh, yeah.
That's my issue.
Okay.
There isn't the content in there.
We have a question over here.
Exactly.
True, it's been toned down the violence and all of it. But the other thing that they have managed to do is with Negan at the beginning of the season, after he killed Glenn and Abraham, everyone hated him. But they literally, through the whole season, have been sneaking it into you that you actually start to kind of like Negan a little bit. I mean,
I like Negan in all kinds of ways.
You had the drink, Audie.
Oh, we're.
I watched Prisoner.
when he escapes,
Denny.
When he escapes Alexandria and then he's pulling out in that truck and he flips them all the bird. I mean.
Here's the thing. Actually, I have a little thing to say about Negan, because Negan. My problem with Negan is from a story writing point of view, and again, I think it's a Scott Gimple thing. They created this amazing character, and unfortunately, this amazing character is relying entirely on Jeffrey Dean Morgan's charisma. They gave us nothing about Negan. They gave us nothing about his background. Not even one bit of information that could let us grab onto him as a solid character.
Had his daughter zombie in the closet.
But there was something human about him. Like, Negan is just charisma and Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and there is no...
In the comics, they've given his backstory.
And I'm hoping we're going to get some of that, but in all of this loading action, why would you not give me at least something?
Well, and even in the comics, knowing his backstory is new. It's not something we've known all along since comic book number 100. So I think that's something that they're being faithful to the comic books on in terms of how and when stories unfolding. So I'd say you just need directors and writers who are able to, when nothing much is happening, still make it compelling, that you're finding a new ocean community or whatever.
I mean, and do we not think that maybe the reason, because you said they don't give a lot of his story
until right now, they're monthly they've been releasing just little tidbits of his backstory.
I mean, and I think that's maybe part of his strength is that
he's a mystery.
You know, he is a mystery, and so there's not something that we as an audience could grab onto, but there's also not something that any of his people can grab onto.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not in the comics. Is that in the comics that they're releasing info?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, it's a separate Image Plus thing where they're releasing a little bit each month. It's not in the actual comics, but I think the show is being faithful to the comic book because at the time where the show is, we didn't know anything about Negan.
If they wasted 3 episodes with the governor finds a family, I'm pretty sure they're.
What was that about? Oh wait, they had to introduce Tara. My bad.
My point is, you cannot let a comic book. A comic book is not a television show. Yeah. You can't let the comic book dictate your screenplay writing abilities. They're two separate mediums. We are watching them like you are. You're reading the graphic novel and you're watching the TV. The same with other shows that have two different sources.
Sorry,
Yeah.
But novels and making the movies are different. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
You deviate too far. You just not follow the nerd.
Which is the definition of season 3. Season 3 was so action packed, it was so fun, but it pissed off all the people that are comic book purists, and that's why we got.
But if Robert Kirkman already wrote this, and it's already he can release whatever he wants to release to the writers, just a nugget, just a little
something to
a
let me
taste,
hold on to Negan.
Just let it slip out.
Andrew?
But what were you saying about the time frame in terms of what the comic books have told us about Negan?
At this point, we know on the
Not
show.
the story, in this point of the comics.
Oh,
do
they
the
could.
Do the showrunners have information about Negan
Yes.
that they could have shared with us, or is it just coming out in the comics after the season?
Robert Kirkman is
It's just coming out in the comics now. Things about Negan. So
No,
I'm saying as the show was airing, new things are coming out about Negan, which I think is calculated because Negan's on the show. There's more interest in him. We'll release little bits of Negan in this Image Plus so you can learn about
Robert
more
Kirkman
comic
is
books.
not
It's like,
sitting in his kitchen writing a graphic novel week to week. has been done for 2 years now.
But I guess what's the
It's not
but
like Jake
and
Martin told
also
them everything.
what's the precedent? Because if in the past he wasn't just, hey, let's throw out some stuff from way far in the comic book, they've been doing it in the same pretty much timeline as the comic. So why would they suddenly do something different?
Kate.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Also, Zach doesn't like not having answers. So just
Okay.
He really doesn't.
We're not going into sex.
All right, so yeah, what's
but basically, the characterization is threadbare. Is your criticism?
yes?
Yeah,
And I think it is similar in the comic book simply because when you're in the zombie apocalypse and you meet someone, at any point, especially later on, they're a fragmented version of themselves. Like Michonne is a good example. Like, they're not saying, oh, hi, my name is Michonne and I'm from this city, or, you know what I mean?
Right,
So that's
right.
part of the interest of the story is meeting people who are in a war-torn situation.
Correct.
And what do you meet first? And how does your relationship unfold? That's part of the storytelling that's interesting.
But all I'm saying is Negan's just a man with a bat and a scarf.
Right
That's
now.
all they and catchphrases.
Right now, he's just a bully, and I don't have anything human to hold on to. I don't have any redeeming.
Swear words.
Right, and the only thing that redeems him is Jeffrey Dean Morgan's charisma.
And I think,
Yes, they did though.
yeah, but I,
Someone who like doesn't read comics but like reads the spoilers, I'm sorry, I'm that person. But like as somebody like that, like I liked that episode of Carl and him, like where he's kind of being a father
Carl.
figure type esque or like man figure. Like I feel like they developed that well.
And that's from the comics.
Yeah, I know.
And
It's not
possi-
comics, but like they did it well. Like,
I agree with that.
made me feel
With the whole
for-
Olivia thing, that was good.
and also, is that the experience Negan's own people have of him? That he's a guy with a bat and a scarf. He has this mystique. We're scared of him. We know to say we're Negan. That may be all they know too.
But
you
at
know?
some point, you have to take some creative license because you are still pandering to an audience. And that audience has to have something from a character to hold on to. Because otherwise, he gets repetitive. He is only showing us one side. His only side is, I beat everybody up.
Well, I think Let Me Touch Your Eye Hole with Carl. That tells you a lot about.
That was so cool.
Like that's kind of what I was gonna say. Like the only difference is just nostalgia. Like how he was like, yeah, you got a little bit more of it. Like how he was. Like,
Yeah, his
hey,
consent thing is very interesting. That's the only nugget that I got. But the problem is, I don't know how much of it I believe. So, because he keeps saying I'm all about consent, and you're like,
yeah, that's
okay.
problematic.
Of course, I'd consent.
Why killed the guy that got raped? The guy
Yeah,
that
he
got
killed
raped,
him.
like, Sasha.
Yeah, I do disagree though that about Negan's development because I feel like from the jump when we met him, they just killed a whole outpost of people, and we get Negan's rules. I'm gonna kill one of you. You know, that's different. The governor would have just massacred them, but he's like, oh, here's my rules. I kill one of you, and then you join me. And then, so we're already learning. Okay, this guy.
He's shaking.
This
He's
guy,
getting hot over
This
here.
This guy has a I'm saying he has a system. He has restraint. He has a program. And he has a larger. We're learning about him.
So after
Yes.
that, after he does the one killing, though, him and Rick go in the RV alone. And I can't get over, Rick couldn't kill him. Rick has been so much, and he's so traumatized by the one killing that he can't even hatch it.
I
And
agree with you.
And they set us up for failure for the whole season with that shit. That
I
we're gonna
agree.
Watch him not be able to kill Negan, and then you try to tell me this.
Or at
guy's
least
big-
try. At least
he's
try.
so traumatized. Oh,
No,
that he can't do it.
He had killed Abraham and then he had killed Glenn, so he killed two people.
Only
You're saying
because
Rick's
they.
so traumatized after he's been through all these seasons.
Well, no, and by the way, that's some
We'll
of
get
the
right to-
that's some of the show adding to the whole RV thing is something the show added as opposed to the comic book.
That was bad.
but-
that set me up for failure for the season.
I agree. That RV scene was a mess.
I just want to say two things. I think that what y'all have mentioned about the parts that you like is also part of our frustration with the season is because there were such good nuggets, but they were just so small. Like, they could have done Carl more. They could have done.
Why was there not more coral in this?
I think he was.
Judith. Just kill Judith and bring
He
coral.
went to college.
They're definitely going to kill Judith. You're not going to have two babies on the show. It's not happening. I'm sorry.
Hold on, let's let.
But the moment we talked about this, man in the black shirt, we talked about this a little bit in the last panel of the moment that Rick was broken.
Yeah.
And so this kind of confused wasn't broken after Abraham and Glenn died, why didn't he fight? And
Because-
so that is kind of a good question. Like, I'm now confused.
Because he's being blackmailed. All of the rest of his people are at gunpoint with this army and potentially could be
Okay,
killed.
so okay, Andrew.
But just to answer, why didn't he kill him in the RV? Is that's the difference of Negan between the other villains we've had. If you kill the governor, you cut the head off the snake. But we've already learned as the audience and Rick that Negan isn't a snake with a head. So killing Negan
It's a Hydra.
saved everyone back where so they said if he came back and said I just with the bat saying I just killed Negan, they just would have just taken everybody out. They still have to go.
But I mean, the show always gives us the opportunity where our team sweeps in and saves everybody at the end.
Right.
So the show set us up that if Rick kills Negan in the RV, something's going to happen back where everybody's at gunpoint, and we're going to get saved.
But I think if we hadn't been introduced, I mean, we had multiple episodes that Negan was this bigger group. That it was I am Negan, I am Negan.
And the daisy chain of zombies.
The one person. Get rid of the one person.
They never give us a clear second in command that would step up if Negan dies.
Yeah.
Didn't he?
Torturing everybody, and we're getting feelings now that there's going to be an uprising.
Yeah, she won't raise her hand.
Please.
Burning people's face off.
Yeah, hold on, talk it up.
Drink some more and then participate.
He said that it was a hybrid on a snake, and you were like,
Oh, you were talking about the head of the snake.
Yeah,
It's kind of like how
Negan
you
is
the
a-
governor and all that stuff like that. But that was done. But Negan, he's got been so wrapped, he's psychological instead of
Yeah, he's not ahead of the snake.
Yeah.
He is ahead of
And I feel like Rick tried to grab the hatchet and he fought him.
Right.
So it wasn't like he didn't
half-heartedly.
try.
So, I mean,
I don't buy it. I'm with you. I think that was
okay,
weak.
so I'm going to rationalize with the storytelling. I can see, I don't agree with it, but I'm going to rationalize with it. We were told again and again in the season to try to kill Negan is a suicide mission. So I feel like Rick thought about it, and if it's either you win it all or you lose everything. So if he tried to kill Negan, he had no choice but to succeed. Because if he was to lose, Negan would have killed him and everybody.
So I guess what I'm saying is is this a director criticism? Like if they'd had a knockdown, drag out fight in the RV and Negan had won, you would have felt better than this this weird.
And that's what kept Rick from doing it.
Well, yeah, Negan had the rifle.
So this is the scene the way it was directed.
The whole time.
Yeah.
Yes.
You could have thrown the shit or done something.
And plus, by then, they
because
were
showed us-
far away. They were not even anywhere near the people that were being held
And then Rick
hostage.
would have found a solution to free everybody.
Go back to Alexandria, get the rest of your people, and come back.
When they were first in the RV, Negan saw Rick kind of flinch toward the hatchet. That's when he showed him the machine gun. He's like, hey, go ahead.
Right, but then he's driving and is.
By the one quick Rob McGough move that he's the best thing out there.
I agree.
So the scene should have been directed better so that you believe that Rick can't fight him. Yeah.
And I feel like Rick gave up too quickly this season. Like there was not. It just wasn't. It wasn't with what they have been setting us up this whole entire series for.
I disagree.
So I guess as a director looking at that scene, I guess what would have saved that scene is if you would have restrained Rick somehow with
Or put a guard in there, extra guard.
or guard
Something,
or
anything.
some kind of restraint where he could have still got the axe and freed himself. There was a way for him to do it, but the risk was too great. Yeah. So yes, ma'am.
I just feel like Negan is so based on psychology that he beats them down and out with it. He's literally Pavlov stuff. You're trained over and over again to fear him or else. Same with oh god, what's his name? Daryl, exactly. Same with Daryl. Over and over, he was free. He could have gotten out, but he was so scared he didn't.
Right.
It's a psychological game he's playing.
Yeah.
That song. That was the bane of our lives.
Yeah, we got
flagged.
We got
twice
flagged for that. Okay, so the next person, I guess, on our list, we kind of went through Rick.
I kind of want to take an overall poll. Okay, so we just talked a whole bunch about Robert Kirkman versus Scott Gimple. So I just want to see the room.
Can you clarify for those that don't read the
So
Robert Kirkman is the creator of the graphic novel.
Okay, Scott Gimple.
Scott is the current showrunner who drove us to the ground in season 7.
So
Personal opinion.
I just want to poll everybody very quickly. Who was happy with what Scott Gimple has done with the show?
Raise
Raise your hand.
your hand, Brittany. Raise your hand.
I'm not going to stop watching. But
I just want to see.
That the entire room, like, already was like, I mean,
See, no, and that's and I think that's what Scott Gimple relies on. It's like, but you like this show, you're gonna keep coming.
I think it's an oversimplification to put all the blame for what's happening on screen on Scott Gimple.
He's just the face for a bigger problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
I just wanted to see. I was curious.
My issue is just the storytelling,
I was curious.
not the marketing.
So we're all going to keep watching, but we're going to curse Scott Gimple while we do it.
Well, I do it every.
We can all agree with that.
All right. So what is?
Okay.
Yes. Hold on.
Well,
Oh, sorry.
No, I mean, it's just going back to that question. I don't think it's an all or nothing type of thing.
Exactly.
I mean, I think you can appreciate both genres. I think you can appreciate the graphic novels, and I think you can appreciate the television show, but still have criticism of them both.
Yes.
There's just more criticism happening right now.
Breaking Bad was perfect.
And I do think Robert Kirkman has his fingers in the pie in terms of the show. I think
He needs
the
more
comic
fingers
book
in there.
guy does have
Add a couple
influence
more.
on what happens on the show as well.
Or we could just replace Scott Gimple.
That's what we're voting for. We're voting for
Bring
replacement
back
of
Frank
Scott.
Darabont. Don't.
Yes, Frank
They're
Darabont.
in the AMC. I don't know if they would ever do that.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I don't want to see, and I hate to mix TV shows, like I don't want to see a Game of Thrones type thing where you have to follow the context and all the major arcs and storylines and everything else that goes on with that. I mean, I because I've read all the books, I know it happens, and I get to see it on the show, and then the little tweaks that they do to save time or to advance storylines, I just mark that up to creative licensing. I'm okay with that, but when it comes to The Walking Dead, it's like I'm literally sitting there. I'm like, okay, I know this happened in the graphic novel, but I had no idea what's going to happen on the show. And I think as a fan that I appreciate that and I like that, and that's what keeps me tuned in. Because even though I think I may know what happens, I'm not. There's no guarantee that that's actually going to take place.
Yeah. And
Yes.
to add on that, it was
We'll
like
get
how
right
they
to.
killed Abraham instead. Like, because they gave, what's her face?
Denise.
Yes, his death instead, like, he was able, like, I read that, like, he was able to, like, justify and, like, give Abraham a better death than what he had in the comic book. Like, and he liked that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Next. Hold on.
Abraham got the arrow through the eye. Dwight killed him.
The destination is still the same, but the trick is a little bit different. You know, you take different routes to get to the same destination.
So we're just in the desert right now. Is that?
We're currently in the
We're in
Sahara.
Arizona, just going right through Arizona to get to California.
What is it? Bugs Bunny. I think I took a wrong turn.
In Albuquerque.
Okay, so what's our
Absolutely.
next? Oh, go ahead.
So-
there's certain changes, like they're doing the comics, but they're bastardizing it. Like I thought Michonne was good with the king, but now they got her throwing herself at Rick because they got offended.
Is anybody shipping that?
Not at all.
Does anybody feel any chemistry between Rick and Michonne?
Yes, I love it. I love it. It's so good. They
Well,
developed it so
we
well.
lost him. We lost
He
him.
likes it. He likes it.
They
They
developed
like
it
it.
so well.
You love it?
It was unexpected.
Okay, I'm with you. I don't think they have any chemistry whatsoever.
You know why that is? They've explained why that happened.
Why?
It all goes back to that second showrunner that they had, because he's the one.
That no one can name.
Right. He's not important.
The one that killed off Andrea. Because Andrea was supposed to end up with Rick, and Michelle was
Really?
Yeah, in the books, Andrea is with Rick right now.
Well,
But they killed, which surprised even her, because it was supposed to be her and Rick together, and because they killed her off, they did the whole Rick Michonne thing. There's been a few times when they've done that because of something stupid casting. For instance, when they killed off Dale, that was because they got rid of Frank Darabont.
Oh.
yeah, that actor.
The actor who plays Dale was a friend of Frank Darabont's, had worked with him a lot of time. And since the way they let him go, he said, "I'm not coming back." So they killed him off, and that's why
That's why Dale's death was so weak.
That was so weak. It seemed out of nowhere how he, in an empty field, he was suddenly snuck up.
Which one's a which?
Surprise Walker. I'm drinking
But
for Surprise
because
Walker.
they killed him off, that's why they created Bob.
These are directors.
Because Bob, to do that death, Bob's death.
Herschel, you mean, or?
No, Bob.
The guy who gets eaten.
Yeah, the one who gets eaten.
Tainted meat.
Oh yeah, okay. Sorry.
That was Bob.
That
was Dale.
Death, but they had to do that death
early.
Well, no, they had to do that because that was always the term.
Well, I mean,
The cannibal thing was always, it was a touchstone of the comics, and they had to do that. But since they, and it was Dale's, that's the way Dale died, was the whole tainted meat.
Gotcha.
But since they did that, they had to create a character.
I like Bob. He was here today, by the way.
They had
folks.
options.
Yeah, that's what he became, Bob.
I know. I just forgot his name.
It's like Enid. The whole reason they brought in Enid is because they killed off Sophia in the second season.
Oh,
So Coral
Sophia.
needs a girlfriend.
Go, Coral.
No, actually, I
Thank you,
think
20.
the reason they brought her in was since they killed off Sophia. Because Sophia was supposed to end up with
Carl?
No, not relationship one. Was supposed to be the foster child of
Maggie
and Glenn.
Oh, okay.
But since they killed her off, they had
That was a good death, though.
they had to bring that in.
Sophia's death was good. That was a moment for Carol. That's a moment Carol became Carol.
Carol is completely different.
Yeah. I'm glad they went where they went with her. Okay, what else do we have? Do we have anything
So
else?
is it go down the main? So the main character, we kind of like gone through the main character.
Okay,
So
hold on. I have
Go
there's
ahead.
one underneath here that I think everybody wants to talk about. It says what we like and dislike about Carl.
all right.
I can't even with you right now.
I'll take a poll.
Everybody who likes Coral on this side of the room.
If you like Coral, raise your hand.
I like them in the comics.
I heart Coral.
Except he's really oral now because he can't see.
I think.
So it's what we like and dislike.
Okay, so what do I like and dislike about Coral? So I think that in the show version of The Walking Dead, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Coral, I feel like for some reason writers cannot write for teenagers to save their life.
They really can't.
And
I
the
agree with
only
that.
trope they tend to overuse for teenagers is the whiny,
Can
bratty.
we talk about the whole episode they spent walking down the road flirting? What was that about?
they weren't walking, they were skating.
Oh, whatever.
Teenager.
And he's not. He's supposed to be a badass.
Because they got Rosita and she is a
We
whiny
scared them off.
Right. Just let her be whiny.
So I think
I hate her.
I wish she had died
Instead of Sasha, straight up.
Okay.
Also,
I would say they lost me on Carl early on in the prison when he was like the bad seed. It was like, oh, we gotta watch him. Carl's turning into like an evil, Dawn of the Dead child.
But I
And that
mean,
was
he did kill
just,
his mom, so
He was going through emotional stuff. I think Coral keeps proving over and over and over again what a badass he is, and people
I'm walking
refuse
away.
to see it.
I'm taking my breath.
Right! That was awesome! Right! Did we not see him jump out of the back of that truck?
Can we take it back? Sorry, just because I know what the panel is supposed to be about. Can we talk about Carl books?
Yeah, talk about the books, Brittany. We're just yelling at each
Carl
other.
in the books is.
We've heard he is.
He's supposed to be
Well,
Literally, there has been a study to prove that teenagers think they are invincible. That is all they're proving with Carl, is that he thinks he's invincible. He's a typical pain in the ass, stubborn, whiny teenager.
yeah, I agree. I don't understand what these. I don't, in terms of show Carl, I don't understand what these really, really high expectations of what he's supposed to be doing are, because he's a child. Like, I don't see why, so I don't understand all the Carl hate, but I will say that in the comic books, at a much younger age, he's doing what older Carl is doing. So already it's more frightening and more compelling. So we have the story of the Lizzie. Lizzie's story happens when Carl is still very small, and she's going nuts. In the comic book, she's a boy, and she's a boy that's been with them for a long time, traveling with his parents. It's two little boys. And the boys, they realize he's psychotic. He murders his brother. All the adults have these stricken looks on their faces, including Rick, because they don't know what to do. Carl gets it done. He gets in the truck, kills the kid, gets out. Nobody knows who it was. And we don't know for sure. I mean, we know it was Carl, the audience. The adults don't know that it was Carl for a while. Okay, and so already it's just more compelling because Carl isn't having any, therapy sessions. We just see him again and again and again take action and do badass stuff as this little tiny person with a hat on that's as big as him.
It's true because like in a television show, when you have a young child actor, every season they're going to
grow up.
A year older. Whereas, in a book like that.
But that still doesn't mean
So I think a lot of fans found Carl to be more badass because he was so young doing the things Carl is slowly doing on the show.
Right.
At an older age.
When you write for a show,
including the Negan takedown, he was very small.
My issue is you can't take a character, make him the pinata of 3 seasons, where he gets shot, his mom died. Like, you just beat up on this character, and he can't do anything about it. And then you can go, oh, look at that, he has a girlfriend. Oh, look, he can shoot a gun. And you're trying to, we can't stand this person who is just beat up on.
According to I don't know what it is, some kind of child laws of films, a child can't shoot a gun until they're 14.
Yeah.
So the kid geeks out. Chandler geeks out about the episode where he was finally able to shoot a gun. It's when the prison falls and he gets to finally actually shoot a gun. So there's all kinds of variables happening.
Right, but he's still getting things. He got his eye shot out. Like, there's still.
I don't see why you're saying that as a negative.
Because they keep beating up on the character and not giving him. He's not overcoming.
Look at the world he's living in. He's living in a post-apocalyptic zombie world.
They don't give this character the tools.
Just the fact that there's a child alive in this world already should be exclamation points above your head that what in the heck is going to happen to this child? You know what I mean? So the fact that a lot of bad stuff happens to him is par for the course.
I think another thing that they did what they did in the comics opposed to the show is Carl took a life much earlier in the comics than he did in the show. I mean, he didn't take a life until they were at the prison in the show. In the comics,
he killed Shane.
He killed Shane.
Yeah.
To save his father in the comics.
Really?
What?
Yeah, he did kill Shane.
Yeah.
But
and that's
there's
somebody he grew up with. That was like an uncle to him. But he did it to save his father.
I'm sorry, did you have a question back there? Did you have a question back there?
I was just saying that I agree with Zach on that. Like, they beefed him up so much in the comics. I haven't read the comics, but I've heard that the show, you're just like, really? You can't, this is all you are at this point? Like,
yeah,
he needs to rise. He's like Sansa in Game of Thrones.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yes.
Do you think the show's going to show Carl losing his V card to the...
I hope so. He deserves it right about now.
He needs to do something.
Get him to do something.
I just don't get it. I don't get the Carl hate.
Enid?
Or are they going to introduce it as a female?
It's definitely going to be Enid.
The Carl hate comes from season 2, when the stuff hit the fan. Carl was always never anywhere near the house where he was supposed to be. So he was always.
So everyone's screaming out the door, Carl!
He was always that one little birdie out there that everyone had to risk their whole life to go out and go help him.
But he got Dale killed.
And he got Dale killed.
Instead of killing that walker, he just toyed with it and it got out, and that's the one that killed Dale.
Well, it's his fault they lost the farm too, because that gunshot to kill Shane,
the zombie
alerted all the zombies.
And then I believe, if I remember correctly, there was this little D plot that Rick wasn't good as Shane. Like, Rick wasn't the father that Shane was. So he was pinning Rick and dead Shane at this point in season 3. like, well, Shane would have let me do this, and Shane, like, I remember like there being
Well,
like,
and
some,
after
like,
the prison falls, he is really what she said, which is just a whiny, hateful teenager that can't stand his dad. But at the same time, he's helping. He did get pudding, but he's also taking care of his invalid dad and eating pudding. But yeah, he and Michonne are like my favorite friendship on the whole. I love their friendship.
I like Michonne. All right,
Is that it? Well, are we out of time? Have we been screaming enough?
We're at 10. We're at 10.
We still got 10 minutes. What else do we have?
So before we send everybody on their way this lovely evening, make sure to download the Comicpalooza app and then please give us a rating, whether that's a 1 or a 5.
Yeah, thank you.
Or 10.
How would you have your 5-star rating on the app? Because I'm a volunteer. I didn't even know we could do that.
So there. Okay, we'll do a tutorial.
Let's do a tutorial together.
So this is what we're gonna do. So here we go. Hi everybody, welcome to my tutorial. I'm gonna talk about this right now. So if you go to your app store, whether you have an Android or an iPhone, there is an app called Comicpalooza 2017. If you're watching online, you can do this too. And so you click on the app, and it's gonna come up like that. This is like really a tutorial.
It is.
All right, and on the app, you go to oh really? Oh my goodness! So you go to schedule. Oh.
You only get 4 stars?
No, you get nothing.
Only iPhones.
So yeah, on the iPhone.
So use your friend's iPhone. And
So yeah, on the iPhone, there's a little.
Oh,
I can't do anything
of
about
course.
that.
Why would it work?
So never mind on the tutorial.
All right.
So I guess we could do. What we did do last time was our season 8. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am.
I was just gonna ask when is Game of Thrones?
Tomorrow.
Never mind.
Oh, there we go.
Are you talking about our panel or the premiere? Because the premiere's in July. Oh yeah, didn't I tell you we have
Actually,
we have an advanced copy?
We're
We're
doing it
gonna
right
be
now.
showing
Here we
it.
go.
Biggest panel ever.
So yeah, so we have panels all day tomorrow. Not all day. We have 3 panels tomorrow.
2 Game of Thrones panels tomorrow.
Yes.
And
One Walking Dead.
4:30 and 6 o'clock.
Oh, thank you.
And they're all in.
Thank you. Yeah, we're in the same. So I guess before we leave everybody on this lovely evening to go get more drinks at Neil's bar. So what we didn't discuss over there was we didn't discuss what our predictions are for season 8 were. I kind of threw that in there. I gave it what I want it to be, but I'm not Scott Gimple, so I'm not going to give you a soap opera beginning. So, Brittany, I want to know what Brittany thinks. You're so quiet right now.
Well, I don't know. It's hard because I used to make sure that I wasn't reading past where the show is. And now that I've read past where the show is, it's hard for me to speculate on the show because I already know so much of what's happening afterwards.
Fill us in.
No, she's going to spoil us.
I'm a spoiler. No. Here's the thing.
She's not going to spoil you.
No, I'm a spoiler phobe, and so I enforce it on everyone else around me, which irritates my friends who want to know spoilers, and I know them, but I'm so angry that they want to know them that I won't tell them.
Can we talk about what probably won't happen?
Sure. Well, not if it spoils people. Do people want to be spoiled?
Showing her shacking up. I don't think she's gonna be disappearing in Oceanside for like months.
Well, you know what else? You know what? That's Carol now. Have you noticed that? She's very isolationist. She wants to leave. She's not gregarious. She's a lot like comic book Michonne, actually. Yeah. So
literally and figuratively.
She's kind of shipping it. She's kind of on the Carol is kind of on the Michonne track, but the whole Oceanside like getaway was part of them promoting their video game. So there's speculation that they won't do that even with Carol because why? We're not going to get some Carol video game where we find out about her past.
I'll download it right now. I'll get a Carol recipe book is what I'll get.
I think what's going to happen is, and I mean this is a very general and broad idea, but I gave this theory during last season and it did not happen. But I think that, at least I think this last season is like Harry Potter, Deathly Hallows Part 1, where you're just like, let's get through it and dance in a tent. And then I think hopefully this next season will be like Deathly Hallows Part 2, which is just badassery and fighting.
Does that make Glenn zombie?
No, Hedwig. That makes Glenn Hedwig.
No, Glenn's Dobby because Abraham's Hedwig. But I hope so too. I want fighting. I want war.
I want
You want
full
blood.
on war.
You want blood.
All out war.
I want people to die. Let's murder some
Entire
people.
Season just setting up. Are we gonna fight or are we not gonna fight?
Let them fight.
Better be fighting.
constant fighting for 6 episodes.
How they're going to combine might be an interesting, because like so far they're still separated.
Somewhat.
Yeah, and so like
Who's separated?
Who will join who and where they'll join.
Like
up
Seaside and
those details we could talk about for some.
I think everybody's gonna join in.
Who's so scared that they will join Negan?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
I want that first episode that hunting down those scavengers and guys.
we didn't even get to Jadis, and because we don't
Can
have
we
the
just
time.
get Carol in there to do what she did at Terminus and just everybody up?
All right, so yeah, thank you, 5.
Exactly.
We're getting the wrap-up sign from Andrew. All right, so
I think. Oh, there you go.
What are the?
Sorry, we don't want to be long-winded.
So do we have any questions on the? No one's watching in chat.
We
Okay.
have no questions. No, they're just all.
Does anybody
asking
in here have a
questions.
clear prediction for season 8? Like
War.
war. It's gonna happen.
Burn them all!
Oh, sorry, wrong.
Brittany gives. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Tigers. We can stick with tigers.
Hold on, we can't hear.
Sorry.
Is going to find out that Eugene lied to him about Sasha.
Negan's gonna find out.
We talk about that tomorrow.
Yeah, I agree.
In the first place, and so the wives know about
So the
that.
secret is out.
So like it's like
It never was a secret, I guess.
There's no way she would have ran out of oxygen. Like that was like I don't know. There's no way. I don't think there's a way. Like I feel like those you can still breathe in.
No, there was a tarp over the box.
Was there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that
It was a real thick tarp. Real thick. It was the deathly tarp.
My prediction for next season is probably Havoc and Slip the Tigers on the
Yes. What? Yes.
That Eugene thing came out of left field completely because it's not in the comic.
It's
Eugene's
very
like a major
weird.
character in Alexandria, making bullets and stuff. And
There's been backlash. There's been backlash. The actor who plays Eugene,
yeah, he had to quit social media.
he quit all social media because he was getting death threats.
Oh my god.
We all need to calm down, okay? Why is Joffrey not getting death threats? But Eugene is. I'm sorry. Who was talking? Yes.
I was just gonna say I want to see Dwight get his revenge.
Dwight's rebellion. That's amazing.
I kind of want Dwight to go away.
I believe it. I
They
agree.
want. She wants
I agree.
Dwight to get his vengeance.
Yes.
Whoa.
What she said.
Language.
Yeah.
No, they can say whatever language they want. We're PG-13.
No, you're right. No, you're right. You're right. As long as
hope
you're
so.
enjoying yourself. As long as you're enjoying.
From the spoilers I learned from the comic books, however, it's going to be interesting.
No, you're fine. You have a great time. That's all that matters.
We have to not curse.
Yeah.
You guys can curse all you want.
Comicpalooza is like watching us.
It's on the webcam, but you can't curse.
No, actually, we can curse on our YouTube, but we don't want to curse in front of all you fine people. Yes. Plus, there's a spy in here, so. Spy.
They.
I'm the cool volunteer guy.
Okay.
We were.
Oh, Lord love you. You keep me young.
They told us that this is an all-age event, so we have to be able to do all age. So if someone,
And talk about Game of Thrones.
I mean, but someone could technically bring their kid in here with them, because there's something graphic happening in the panel.
Where did Gregory go?
Gregory could go to hell. It's where Gregory can go.
Didn't he,
Oh,
like,
God,
didn't he leave
Gregory.
the hilltop and go? Heath is a something that needs to be resolved next season.
No.
Where's Heath?
Gregory can stay away.
There was a card, a key card, when they took Heath.
Yeah, it's true. He's on another show. He's getting another paycheck.
Yeah, Gregory's the wild card.
Gregory can stay out of everything.
Such a little. All right, I think we're good, right?
No, 2 minutes.
Or we can-
1 minute actually.
1 minute. Let's do our spiel.
So let's everybody raise your glass. We're gonna end this panel right here.
Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you guys.
And
now our panel is
ended. All right, thank you guys. Yeah. Yeah. So.